Well, the Guardians are 3-0 in games where a pitcher starts in their major league debut. I think we found the formula. The Guardians just have to have a pitcher start and as a rookie in their major league debut. So Gavin Williams, come on down. Joey Cantillo, come on down. After that, it gets a little bit dicey. That's a conversation for another day. Today is all about Tanner Bibee. It is the Locked On Bibee-cast for today. Nothing but like a good major league debut. That was an enjoyable game for everybody except for the Colorado Rockies, I guess. So let's talk about Tanner Bibee all day today on Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am Jeff. Over there is Justin. I want to thank you for making Locked On Guardians your first listen today and every day wherever you get podcasts. And we should be your first listen. I mean, we told you who would be starting, and it took them a little bit longer to confirm it, but we were right. Sorry, William Stearns, an everydayer who gets annoyed with our victory laps, but there is one of them.
You're gonna celebrate life's wins when you can. Hey,
yeah.
Okay? Life is short.
Yeah, I do got. I was doing some responding to comments in there, and I love Caleb, who's another everydayer. I appreciate that it may be the best. Getting excited to say that we're on our way to the best starting five in franchise history. I just advise him to go look at the 50s when we had multiple Hall of Famers. Not to mention, even the Cooper peak is going to be hard to top. But I love the enthusiasm. And why is there enthusiasm like that right now? Because how good Tanner Bibee looked today. Yes, it's the Rockies, but the same Rockies team has had beat up the pitching earlier in the week. So, I think you don't want to just write it off. Listen, there was a point where he had 6 strikeouts in a row. I mean, he was dealing.
Yeah, every sense of the word. I mean, that first inning, he did he had some jitters, it looked like. The adrenaline was going. He was up to 99. He hit Blackman in the hip, I think. Yeah, first batter, he hit Blackman in the hip. That was 99. It was his hardest pitch of the day. And then he got through that okay. And then he settled in after that because that was the second and third innings, I think, is when he struck out the 6 straight in a row. So very quickly. And again, just like Logan Allen on Sunday, Bibee came up here and pitched like the guy he was in the minor leagues. He went out there, threw all 4 of his pitches for strikes, although the fastball took some time command-wise to warm up, but he did. But didn't show a whole lot of nerves after that first inning. I mean, he looked like he had been out there, 100 times before. That was, again, as good as you could ask for from a rookie making their debut. I mean, this arguably, seriously, I'm not joking. Is that the best start by a Cleveland starting pitcher this year at all?
There's been so many great ones. It might be. It's in that discussion, right? Like,
just this year?
Think about Savale's start at the start. His one against Seattle. Again, I'm going to give bonus points when you're facing Seattle versus Colorado.
Okay,
it was a great start. Don't get me wrong; it's one of the top 3 ones. It's definitely top 3. It's weird to say Gaddis's one against Oakland is one we would probably put in that discussion. There have not been, even Logan Allen's debut probably isn't that like top 5 discussion. But outside of Savale against Seattle. Because, again, I mean, the level of team he was facing, I think I would probably put this number 2.
Okay, so in this week alone, if you go top 5, I mean, Bieber pitched well against Seattle that first night. They didn't score for him. Savale, okay, I'll give it against Seattle. And, yeah, Allen, I'm sorry, I'm not counting the Gaddis one. I know he pitched fine, but it's Oakland. They're literally the worst team in baseball. There is no excuse.
Rockies aren't much better, though. Unfortunately, even though they took 2 of 3 of us.
I know. I mean, they have guys who have played in the major leagues before, though. They have guys that pay for their own soda, or don't have to pay for their own soda at least. So, I'm saying this is at least number 2, if not number 3. I'm saying, I don't know. I have to go back and look at Bieber's line from the first night, but you're right. Savale against Seattle gets some points because that was a good team. But 2 of the best starts of all season came this week, and it came from guys making their major league debut. And I don't know whether that says the Guardians' rotation had been in shambles before that, or if these guys are just really that good, and that's incredible that they were able to do that in their first start.
Yeah, it's and yeah, the other side of it is one can argue facing, horrendous teams, not to be the bearer of bad news, but you still have to take care of business, which the Vets hadn't been doing. So I'm not going to sit here and just, I know the negative type will be like, well, they faced bad teams, but guess what? Those bad teams had been successful against Cleveland until those rookies came out there and looked great. It wasn't like these were, hey, we gave up 3 innings, we got through 5, there were some ups, there were some downs. It was almost all ups for both Allen and for Bibee. There's a few little bits here and there, but those are great performances. You watch those 2 performances and you feel good about what you have.
It just seems like the energy is different with the team when you have a guy like Logan Allen on Sunday with Logan Allen. The energy seemed different today. The energy seemed different. Hopefully they can find a way to keep that going because, we've said in the previous days that this has been not the Gardiac kids. They're just not the same energy where it felt like they can come back in any game. So the Allen start and the Bibee start seem to give them a little bit of energy. And how could you not be energized? I mean, after he got to that first inning, he struck out 6 in a row at one point, and he was just blowing by him. I mean, even when he didn't have the fastball command early on, he threw his slider for strikes. I mean, he threw, 40 sliders total. He threw 13 of them for strikes and then got 7 strikeouts. So his called swinging strike percentage, which adds up strikes called and swing and misses out of total pitches, 50%. So half the sliders he threw were for strikes that were not put in play. That is pretty darn good. And then when he needed the changeup, he went to it a couple times against the lefties and got 2 swings and misses for strike 3s on it. It was a good pitch for him. And then he threw his curveball for strikes. He went to steal a few strikes with those. And there was one at bat where he doubled up on the curveball. I forget who he was facing, but he threw a curveball that just missed for a strike. And then he came back the next pitch and threw it again. And it was a foul ball, but it was right there in the zone. And then same thing with the changeup. He wasn't afraid to throw the changeup twice in a row, commanded everything. I mean, it was just after the fastball command came around. I've got some interesting spin data for you too, Jeff, whenever you want to get to that.
I think let's go with it now, honestly. Like, go ahead. We're fixated on Bibee in the first segment. So let's just put it all on the table for him.
Yeah. So his average spin rate for his slider, which I know we've said in the past too, that spin rate on curveballs isn't the best way to dictate how good a curveball is. With a slider,
it is
a little bit.
So.
It is a little bit better. So his slider came in at 27-24 on average. That is better than guys like Jacob deGrom, Joe Musgrove, Ryan Presley. That's a good slider. All those guys have Sonny Gray. His slider has more spin than Sonny Gray. So his slider is up there today with one of the best. 4-seam fastball, his max spin rate on that was 25.63. The average was 23.32. So it waxed and waned a little bit, but I will tell you, Jacob deGrom again, spin rate on his fastball 2,500. So Bibee touched that. So up in 25.63. The data looks good. Okay, looked very, very good. So he's up there with some elite company. Not only did he strike out 8 batters, which I think the team said that was the 5th or 6th guy to strike out 8 or more in his debut. And then one was Logan Allen Sunday, and then McKenzie struck out 10, and the others were some longtime great name. I think Louis Tiant was in there, if I'm right. I have to go back and look.
I think, or maybe that was something else where Louis Tiant was mentioned recently, but I think it was right because didn't Allen strike out 8?
He did. Well? It was Allen.
Yeah. So Louis Tiant was the one in the Allen. When they wrote it up about Logan Allen, they mentioned Louis Tiant in that one.
Yeah, and I want to say the other one might have been Bob Veller, but I can't remember now. I have to go back and look.
I don't think all the numbers. I feel like I would have remembered that one. I remember Tiant. I feel like it was someone from like my lifetime. I'll pull it up.
I don't know.
Well, you go into the numbers. I'll pull it up. I got that.
I was trying to find it. I don't know. I'm not sure where it is now, but it was pretty good. Either way, all the numbers are good. And honestly, just love a good major league debut. There is nothing more exciting to me in baseball as a person who follows prospects closely, and Jeff does as well. A major league debut is just one of those days you don't forget. And, your family's there. That's exciting. And to go out there and for it to happen as fast as it did for Tanner Bibee, and for how much work he put in short order. I mean, for a guy that went from being was a grad transfer. He was going to be a grad transfer, I think, to Texas Tech, just as a fallback option if he didn't like where he got taken. Guardians grab him, and then, immediately he comes in and puts in the work. And the first time out, he's throwing 95, 96, and his stuff is picked up. And again, this time last year, he's in Lake County. I'm watching him in Lake County, like days ago, a year ago, like on this day. So just a lot of fun.
Denholm was the guy at this point a year ago. We were talking about the velocity bump we had seen, and kind of the guy we were kind of intrigued to go check out. And that's not to knock Denholm, just to say, like, based on what we've seen and what has occurred, is just the second pitcher in club history to make an ML and allow no walks. The other was Floyd Weaver in 1962.
Wow.
The 7 pitchers here, they don't actually mention who the other 7 are outside of him, Logan Allen, and Floyd Weaver. So there's 4 more guys. One of them we know is Louis Tiant. I'll have to go look up who the other 3 are. That might be in Sunday's email. But yeah, so he's the first one to do it without issuing a walk since 1962. So that, I believe that's good, right? From what I understand.
I think that's okay. Pretty impressive. Any final thoughts on the first Tanner Bibee start? Hopefully first of many, because before we get to, let's talk about what's next for rotation in our next segment. How about that?
That is fair. Why don't we do that and hit the music. And there's that nice little hook at the end. Our first sponsor today is eBay Motors. Our good friends, as you can see, if you are looking online, build your vision part by part. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to the My Garage and look for the green check to know your part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game. When you shop on eBay Motors, and with over 122 million parts to choose from, hopefully Guardians payroll will be that high someday, you'll be back in the game in no time at all. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
So what is next? By the way, no game on Thursday, but Friday, make sure you are checking out Guardians at Red Sox. We are going to preview that later today. Make sure you're checking out the game on Sirius XM. I know Tom Hamilton is back for the Guardians today after his little bout with, I think it was like laryngitis. I don't know. But he's back. That's good to see. So make sure you're checking that on Sirius XM. Here's that number, by the way. Louis Tiant struck out 11 in his debut. Tristan McKenzie struck out 10. Herb Score 9. Logan Allen 8. Tanner Bibee 8. So that is some pretty good company, I would say.
Yes.
So
I agree. It's not. Yes, I'll just agree. Moving on. We got so much to talk about.
We do. The Guardians did say, Tito said after the game that Bibee would be joining them on the road. Nothing's guaranteed, but Bibee is going to Boston with the team. They did say he will travel on the road with them. They didn't say he's getting another start specifically, but I don't think he's going to Boston not to pitch. He won't pitch in the Boston series, but
he's going to Boston to not pitch. He actually is.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
He's not. He's guaranteed not to pitch
against Boston.
But hey, Tanner Bibee, good job. You struck out eight Colorado Rockies. Your next assignment, if you choose to accept it, you get to face the Yankees in Yankee Stadium in your second start. So we'll see if he gets that.
Here he has declined.
They said he's up.
Is heading back to. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I think he's staying up. I think he's making another start. Logan Allen is starting on Sunday in Boston, so he's getting a second start. So now I guess the question is, what's the rotation look like? Is it Bieber, Quantrill, Plesac, Bibee, and Allen, and then Battenfield started the other day? Like, I guess now you got to figure out how you want to line this up. Allen's already pitching. I can't imagine you want to go to New York and start. This is not against Peyton Battenfield. We like Peyton Battenfield. we think he's
He
done a
actually
good
did well
job.
against New York, though.
Yeah, he did. But do you want him doing that again in New York? I mean, who are you starting? Seriously, who are you? You're telling me that you go to New York and you're like, we're going to go with Peyton. And that's not a knock on Peyton. It's just, look what Tanner did.
No, and I get that. And, I can't also help but look at what Tampa Bay did with as good as Taj Bradley's been. And he's on his way back to AAA.
All right, well, that's we know what that's about.
And here's the thing. I think Tanner stays for now. I think Peyton does go down. I don't think he's a priority prospect. No knock on him. I think, kind of put him. I have a little more confidence in Gaddis and Curry as relievers than Peyton right now. He's shown some really nice stuff, but he's still just a tier lower. He really helped this team out, but he goes down. But I do think there is a chance that those young arms. We don't know when Savali is going to be back, but I would not be shocked if Bibee is here until McKenzie returns. I'm just going to state that I think when guys get healthy, if both arms get healthy, I wouldn't be shocked if either of them, just because of the same reason Taj Bradley got sent down, service time manipulations.
Service time, I don't think it's so much service time as it is Super 2.
Yeah,
I think it's a Super 2 thing. The service time thing isn't going to make a big deal, but I think
it's not. You're right. It's all about Super 2.
Yeah, and then come June, that tends to matter a little bit less. Although I will say this is usually how it works in baseball. You're talking about, okay, let's say
someone else.
We know some, right? Exactly what I was going to say. Someone else will get hurt. McKenzie's not due back until Memorial Day, or he officially can't come back to Memorial Day. They did say he's going to throw a bullpen this weekend, so that's good news. But he still has to throw a bullpen. He has to throw off a mound.
I feel like
he's got to go on a rehab assignment. So
volleys, we haven't heard a lot, but I'm assuming it's not that big of a deal if they haven't put him on the 60-man. He's already missed enough time that, like, if he was going to stay out longer, they'd have put him on the 60-man and then not even risk losing Pilkington. Like, they were very complimentary of Pilkington in their note in their conference today. They're always complimentary, but they seemed legitimately like crud. Like, I think they're hoping he gets through. And I talked about this on Twitter, and we've talked about on the show, like, he kept getting passed over. I do want to state this. I don't think him getting passed over was as much to do with Konnor Pilkington. I think a lot of that was wanting to see what Gaddis could do, wanting to see what Curry can do. Those guys weren't in that spot a year ago. They both, I believe, were in AA when the year started a year ago. So they needed to see what those guys could do. So Pilkington getting passed over, I don't know if that was as much a reflection on him as it is, he is what he is, and they got to see what Curry and Gaddis can do. They would love for him to pass through waivers. Honestly, I don't think he will. I think lefties are too valuable. Someone's probably going to jump on it. I mean, not a knock again on Kirk McCarty, not McCarthy, not to combine those guys like yesterday, but Kirk McCarty got claimed, and he doesn't have the stuff that Konnor Pilkington has.
Yeah, I think he will. I don't know if the Nationals will all decide they want to go with someone like that. They have some interesting arms to choose from, at least. I don't know. Oakland should take a chance on him. The Royals should take a chance on him. The White Sox should try to get him back. I mean, their rotation's a mess, too.
He might be better than Clevenger. Just going to put that out there. Based on what we've seen with Clevenger this year, he might be better than Clevenger.
It's pretty bad. So, yeah, I don't anticipate Konnor Pilkington going back and resuming his lease down in Columbus. Same with Tanner Bibee, though. I was listening to the audio today, but I heard Tom Hamilton said you can give up your lease in Columbus, Tanner. I think you're staying. Or he said, me and Rosie will make room for you. So sounds like everybody wants Tanner to stay. And like you said, somebody will get hurt.
Yeah, I just think eventually we'll see one period where they have enough health that they might only need Allen and because Bibee's more likely.
Then it gets interesting.
Well, then no, I don't think it does. I think Bibee goes down because which one has the higher ceiling, and the higher ceiling is also the one who gets more expensive in Super 2. So I think it's if you're going to make that decision based on Super 2, it's not a hard decision. It's very simple, I think. So I think he'll probably go back to AAA at some point for a 2 to 3 week period just to get clear of that, because we've seen them do that. And like I said, Tampa is destroying everyone right now, and they're doing that right now. So I think we'll see something similar.
Well, they can afford to. Tampa Bay can afford to do whatever they want right now.
Well, I mean, I'll say this.
Cleveland cannot.
No. But the one thing you'll say, like to give the other side of it is when you are Cleveland right now, who knows what's going on with Quantrill, but you want him to rebound. Like he actually had some decent trade value in the offseason. Right now it's zilch. Plesac hasn't been terrible. Like, you kind of want to give those guys some showcasing to see if they can recover. And, I wouldn't be shocked either if those guys get more starts and then sometime in July get traded. I wouldn't be surprised if Savali can get healthy and show things, if he gets traded, just to completely open the way for these younger pitchers. But maybe I'm just old and cynical, but I think we'll see some manipulations occur.
Probably. Yeah. Pilkington, I think, is gone. We still haven't heard about Lapastida yet, so who knows what's going to happen there. I do wish the best to Pilkington, though, because, that's harsh. They said that, hey, we asked Pilkington and Tanner not to go to Indianapolis on Wednesday morning or Tuesday, because we thought we might need them in Cleveland, and they did. And then, Pilkington comes out, finishes the game on Tuesday night, and next day, he's going home or he's going somewhere else. I don't know where he's going.
There was a world where he would have started and then not essentially not been cut.
Well, that's what we were saying the whole time. The options were Pilkington on 3 days rest as a long reliever on Wednesday if he wasn't needed Tuesday, but things worked out the way that they were intended. Let's be honest, they needed to stop twisting themselves into a pretzel about this. Clearly, Bibee was the right choice all along. He's ready. And then he said, we think he's ready to help us at the big league level. And, the best days are still in front of him. And that's the other thing. Development can happen at the big league level. People always think that you have to call somebody up when they're totally finished in AAA. A lot of development happens at the big league level. Like Tristan McKenzie has gotten better at the big league level. Corey Kluber got better at the big league level.
I just think it's money. I don't think it's development for me. I mean, not to say that there isn't room for more development, but I think anything sent down is monetarily based and not
right. But I'm saying development can happen at the big league level. You don't have to be a finished product.
I mean, Shane Bieber and they had development
right
at the big league level.
Yeah, and so that's good. All right, so I hope we spent 19 minutes on Tanner Bibee. It was a great thing. Any final thoughts? Because we should probably move on to our next. Talk about something else today, because the offense was better today.
I get a lot of people who are like, I got two things. One, a lot of people who, when I tweeted the best prospects coming up, made a big stink about this or that or the other thing. I mean, listen, I love Espino's upside, but health is a concern. I love Williams' upside as well, but I think he's got I don't know if I want to say a better. His third pitch is more or Bibee's third pitch is more solid, and that can often be a big separator. Cantillo is fun, and then I saw people being like, "Oh, well, if Bibee's successful, then Williams has to fail because of the high fail rate of pitchers." I'm like, let's let guys get up and see what they can do. You got to be happy. Bibee and Allen were fantastic.
They were, and I think Williams will be too. We'll talk about Gavin Williams also in just a moment.
This show is sponsored / brought to you by BetterHelp. That's HELP. Listen, I've talked about this in this ad before, that I have ADD with anxiety. I've had a lot of issues with depression in my life. And when you have those issues, I find I don't want to talk to anyone about it, but often the best thing to do is to talk. And you kind of have to get over stigmas and feelings and, sit down and find someone that you can trust, someone you could talk to, who are going to help you when you have all sorts of things, not just, anxiety or depression. Those are big ones, but just, having someone you can talk through things with in life is very valuable. That's why they're called BetterHelp. They want to help you. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out the questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnMLB to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnMLB.
As we said, Friday, make sure you're tuning in on SiriusXM. Search Guardians to check out the Guardians and Red Sox on SiriusXM. Okay, Jeff. 3 stars. Signs of life from the offense. We'll move right into 3 stars, basically, because they finally won a game. They look good, so we can go back to 3 stars.
No Bibee. I'm kidding, of course. Bibee, you got to give it to Naylor for the home run. That was like half their runs in this one. Plus, he had 2 hits. And to me, that stood out. And then I don't know if everyone would jump on this one. I think most might, but it's like Jose Ramirez reaching base 4 times. That's pretty phenomenal, and an extra base hit.
Good sign from Jose.
Jimenez had 2 hits. Oscar Gonzalez had 2 hits. This was definitely a redemption day. 2 walks for Quan. Basically, it was just, Will Brennan and Cam Gallagher didn't get it done in the lineup. It's been a little bit rough for Brennan of late. Hopefully he will flick it back on. He had so can I ask you a question? I did get to see his near catch. It was a great effort by him, but I think that is a perfect example of why Miles Straw is better than a 4th outfielder. He probably actually gets to that one.
Yeah, he made a good catch later in the game too.
He did. And it's not to knock Brennan. I think he's like a 55, maybe even a 60 potential grade. I just think Straw's like a 70. Yeah,
I would say it's more like a Brennan's a 55 in center and Straw is like a 70. You're right. There's a big jump there. Straw probably gets that without a whole lot of effort. Yeah. That's not to say Brennan made it look hard. It was a hard catch.
It was a hard play, and it's not to crud on him. It just, Straw with his ups and downs. I see people, and yeah, he's not been great, but I do want to point out, like, sometimes defense in center field is really important, and he plays.
I will also point out Oscar Gonzalez had a couple of uh-ohs in today's game.
He had at least one nice play early. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. Like, I'll be honest, because
he made a very awkward, like, diving attempt at a ball in right field. And then the ball was like around him. He couldn't grab it. He was struggling to get to the ball. And then that allowed the Rockies' first run to score. And the game at that point was still 3-1. Yeah. And he had to throw to second base. I don't know if it was on that play. Oh, it was, because that's why the runner scored. So he had a hard time picking up the ball. And once he finally got it, he threw to second base, not paying attention. And the Rockies, whoever was on third, just ran home because Oscar threw it to second. So a couple of blunders right there. I was like, Oscar Gonzalez. I'm like, it's the 6th inning. I know it's only 3-1, but time to get Brennan in there in right field and move Straw and put Straw in center. And they did the next inning. So I was like, I know he had 2 hits today, but there were people last year trying to tell me, oh, Oscar's a good defender. You look all he's doing. He's not a good defender.
Oscar works very hard. He works very hard. He has great physical tools. He just doesn't, I always go back to when I was in AA. It's like, I would sit there and watch Greg Allen and Bradley Zimmer. And for all the negatives on those 2 guys, they always got the right leap. They always got a good jump. They always seem to know the minute the ball came off the bat where, like, I never saw Greg Allen once take a bad route or have a bad break or and I feel like you have to be born with it. I don't know if you can learn it. And Oscar maybe just doesn't have that. Can I ask a question? Do the Rockies have to have the majority of their bullpen have, last names with 4 letters in them? Because it felt like
bird.
We had a bird.
Guard,
we had a bird in the hand today,
but not 2 in the bush.
No, we had a 2-run home run though. So that's
too bad. Like Dave Bush isn't still pitching for them, or Matt Bush or something. Yeah.
But we had a bird in the hand and a 2-run home run. So not off of, but I didn't even realize this is maybe this will people get mad at me about this and not paying enough attention. I didn't realize Brad Hand was with Colorado until he came in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
he's gotten results. It hasn't always been pretty, and he gave a run today. He did strike out Will Brent, or I think he struck out Naylor actually. By the way, Josh Naylor's home run today on the curveball, first hit against the curveball all season. So
they struggle with the curve. That has been trouble with the curve. We'll keep referencing a terrible movie that I've never watched, but
it's bad.
Don't
watch it.
That was a thing a year ago, right? Wasn't that like a lot of write-ups about their struggles? I mean, the book is out. Don't read the book.
Yeah, we're gonna
don't read the movie novelization. That'd probably be painful too.
We're gonna have to get into that at some point. Maybe one of the next off days. It's a good day to talk about this. But this team, they do not hit the curveball well.
No.
Another exciting news for pitching prospects. Gavin Williams is going to start today. You're listening to this on Thursday. He is going to start Thursday for the Columbus Clippers.
He's taking your spot
in Indianapolis
in their rotation. I talked about how you're going to pitch Thursday for him.
That's right. Yeah. I pulled a muscle last night editing the podcast. So
he had nothing to prove in AA. They have no arms down there. Their entire week schedule is like to TBD. I'm not familiar with TBD. He's not a prospect. I know. I don't know why he's pitching 3 of the next 4 days. I'm kidding. But
rubber arm TBD.
It's maybe we'll see some more call ups. Maybe we're gonna, like I said, I think Peyton probably is the guy when Hentges comes up. I'm just going to go ahead and say
Yeah.
this, Justin. Let's skip our review of Boston since we're running low on
Yeah.
time. Here's the thing. Boston, mediocre baseball team. There's a review. If you are a playoff team, you should take 2 out of 3 from Boston.
Yes, well, if you're a playoff team, you should also take 2 or 3 from Detroit and Colorado.
But I feel like playing in Boston has always been an issue my entire lifetime for Cleveland teams.
It is.
My one time I actually went to Fenway, Cleveland was playing there, and they lost. That was like 2004. We were not very good then.
No, they were almost good. Hey, in August, they were in first place for a day.
They were.
Or they were 1 game back.
Early in that season was bad. So I remember showing up to that game with 0 expectations. That's what I remember. It was Memorial Day weekend.
Expectations ruin everything. Friday, we can talk about it really quickly. Friday, Bieber versus Nick Pivetta. Saturday, Plesac, Garrett Whitlock. And Sunday is Logan Allen versus Chris Sale. So a couple of lefties. So Chris Sale has not been good this year. Nick Pivetta is not good. Garrett Whitlock's been bad. They missed Corey Kluber, who's been getting crushed this year too. We did talk about Pilkington being DFA'd. So the 3-catcher experiment lives on. Neighbors Valoria continues to not get at bats, but he just kind of Neighbors Valoria
hitting for them. That's the guy who's the interesting one to check out for Boston. An old friend Christian Arroyo is starting, which is still mind-boggling to me. But yeah,
thanks.
Rob Reinsdorf hit third this week. That's how bad Boston is. Now we can move on.
Neighbors Valoria might have the best job on the team. Like, he's the backup quarterback, right? That never plays. You just collect a paycheck. You just practice. You show up. Might have the best job on the team.
Who was that quarterback who did that forever at the NFL? It was like a Purdue quarterback, maybe, who just was going everywhere and was like the backup who had thrown like 11
Chase
passes.
Daniel? No, Mizzou.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel.
Yeah, it was Mizzou. You're right, but I think it was Chase Daniels. He had like 11 passes and was a multi-millionaire.
Colt McCoy did that forever too, and he got some cushions in his career, but
he got beat up. But like Chase Daniel didn't even get beat up; he just got to make millions for it. But yeah, Hentges, we'll see where he slots in. With him back, there's really only 3 choices. We were discussing before the show started. It's like, is it Batenfield? Is it Curry? Would they consider 99? Because yes, he couldn't have pitched today anyways after pitching the last 2 days. Was interesting. If he is your number 1 setup guy, which I don't think he is anymore, I think that's currently Trevor Stephan, you're not sending him out with 5-run differential and a 4-run differential in games. Like, they're trying to figure it out. It's probably Peyton going out for Hentges to come back, but then I'll be curious to see what role Hentges steps into.
Yeah, for sure. Gonna be tough times ahead. You got the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Twins all the next 3 series. So the early part of the schedule is over. That's why you got to have Allen and Bibee pitching, because this is the part of that. I mean, it's gonna be a tough test for them, but you got to shake the cobwebs off from these bad teams and these bad days of offense. It is a tough schedule ahead. I mean, and they played Detroit after Minnesota. Like, they played well against Detroit. So, tough times ahead. And Carl Willis, he was taken to the Cleveland Clinic today for precautionary purposes. He was dizzy during the game before the game started. So best wishes to Carl. I haven't really seen any updates other than Tito said they called or texted after the game to let him know how Bibee did. And so best wishes to Carl. Hope he's able to go with them to Boston. Hope he's okay.
Yeah, 100%. So I told Justin, I didn't tell him what I was going to do. I thought I'd have some fun with some early season numbers here. So I pulled up minor league performance. And do you know who the top 5 hitters in the minor leagues are by runs created plus for the Guardians who have had at least 38 plate appearances?
Tyler Freeman's got to be up there.
Yes, he's 2. We've talked about almost all of these guys at some point.
Bo Naylor.
No, Bo Naylor he's down the list a little.
Brian Rocchio. He's off to a good start.
No, he's 16th, a spot behind Yordis Valdez.
Yordis Valdez. Zach Collins.
Zach Collins is number 1, the best hitter in the minors.
Yeah.
Cleveland.
That is wild.
One is a AA outfielder who we've talked about the weirdness of his.
Oh, it's Julian Escobedo.
He's 3rd. 4th is a draft pick from last year.
Joe Lampe.
Yep, and 5th
is the other Juan Brito.
Juan Brito is technically 6th. If we bump it up to qualified guys, he would be 5th. The other guy, I believe, played in the World Baseball Classic and is one of those players who some people really love in the minors.
Diane Frias, yeah.
Diane Frias. By the way, if you knock it down to 32, Christian Cairo 7 and Nate Furman 8. just for some fun.
It is weird down there right now.
Yeah, it is weird. And a guy you and I both really like, Angels Zarate, is 9.
Oh, good for him.
But the before we go, go, and then I got one more fun one.
I was just gonna say, we're talking about Juan Brito, 2 for 6 again tonight. No strikeouts, no walks. 11 walks, 5 strikeouts so far this year for Juan Brito in 60 plate appearances. There's 66 now.
And then if we drop it down to like no minimum qualifying for pitching, do you have any guess at who could be in the top 7 minor league pitchers?
What's the
FIP?
stat?
Fielding independent
FIP?
ERA.
Williams.
Yep, number 1.
Leftwich.
Not there. Think recent call-ups.
Allen.
And
Bibee?
Yeah. 6 and 7.
Oh wow.
You're in mind, one of someone we might be a little bit of a punching bag for us in AA.
I don't know.
Tanner Burns is 3rd.
Oh yeah. He's pitched okay. He's not great, but
then let's see. The other guy was my big sleeper coming into this year.
Oh gosh, Ryan Webb. He had a good start on Sunday.
Webb, yeah. And then Caleb Barringer is, by the way, lighting the world on fire in AAA. He's 2.
That's great. Good.
Randy Labatt is 5, and then if you go down, Joey Cantillo 9, Hunter Stanley 11. Mm-hmm. So even though it's super early, the fun is a lot of this are the names we've talked about, the guys to pay attention to and to check out. So hopefully we'll see some more movement on top of Gavin Williams' promotion. Hey, maybe we'll see Cantillo get up to AAA after a few more starts here.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, like you said, Adam Scott and I'm pitching sometime soon too for them too.
And Daniel Norris. And yeah, it's not to knock on those guys. They're doing an important job, but this is not a team that uses a lot of veteran types typically. So it's definitely a change, but it is also nice when you have this level of depth, and that's always the fun thing in Cleveland with this pitching is never ending depth. But it's Bibee Day. So let's just,
or should we Tanner and the family?
We will not call him the name that like 80% of people call him. We will call him Tanner Bibee. We will not make a reference to how his name gets mispronounced. And yes, I understand the irony in me talking about people mispronouncing names. But it's what a great day at the end of the day. Like if you didn't have a good day today with the way he pitched, with the way everything has gone, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're going to focus in on the negatives when you have that type of debut and performance, it's going to be a long year. So just enjoy it. It was a fun day, a fun performance, a great debut. The first of those blue chippers who's really hit and getting a chance to stick. So this is a big step forward just in terms of the organization, getting that next wave going. So thank you for listening. Remember, rate and review, download daily, subscribe, like, comment, and
tell a friend.
Tell a friend, yeah. Anything help our numbers keep going up. And go Guardians, go Bibee.
Let's go.
Bibee.